Imagine being 80 years old and looking back on your life with zero regrets, not a single one. What if I told you I could guarantee you that feeling? There was a nurse who spent years with people in their final moments, and she discovered the biggest regrets people have aren't the mistakes they made, but the shots they never took. And the number one biggest regret on the planet was this: I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. That one sentence is a ghost that haunts millions of people. The fear of failing, of what people will think, or just the unknown literally paralyzes us. But here's the secret: living without regret isn't about making perfect choices. It's about making brave ones. Psychological studies have proven that we feel bad about our screw-ups in the short term, but it's the things we were too scared to do, the challenges we didn't accept, that cause the most pain in the long run. In this video, we are going to break down 5 scientifically proven steps you can use today to destroy that fear and build a life you'll be proud of. First things first, you have to understand a psychological trick your brain plays on you that is secretly ruining your life. It's called the inaction effect. In the moment, our mistakes feel massive. We regret that clumsy thing we did, the business that failed, that awkward conversation. Psychologists found that because these mistakes are a break from our normal, boring routine, our brain obsesses over them, which makes the regret feel 10 times worse. But over time, something insane happens. The sting of those failures completely fades, and a deeper, more painful regret creeps in. The regret of doing nothing. Think about it. The business you were too scared to start. The trip you never went on. The words you never said. These haunt you forever with an imaginary perfect life you could have lived. In a massive study, scientists Shai Davidai and Tom Gilovich found that a crazy 76% of people's biggest life regrets come from failing to become their ideal self, the person they dreamed of being. Only 24% of regrets were about not meeting their responsibilities. So what does this mean for you right now? It means your brain is wired to lie to you. It will scream at you to avoid the short-term pain of failure. It will tell you that not trying is safer than trying and failing. But science says that is a lie that will cost you everything. The first step to a life with zero regrets is to actively fight this mental trap. When you feel fear telling you to stay put, I want you to literally name it. Say out loud, this is the inaction effect. My brain is trying to save me from pain right now, but it's stealing my long-term happiness. Just seeing the trap is like flipping on the lights in a dark room. It doesn't make the monsters disappear, but it shows you they're not as big as you thought. This is your first move from a life of what if to a life of I did it. If you don't know where you're going to end up somewhere you hate. That's why step 2 is to define your core values. Without this internal compass, you're just listening to everyone else. Your family, your friends, social media, whatever. This is the exact formula for waking up at 50 having built a life for someone else. The Coq 1, regret of all time. Now, values are not goals. Goals are destinations you can reach. Values are your personal rules for how you get there every single day. Honesty, curiosity, courage, kindness, adventure, these are values. A study in the Journal of Happiness Studies found a direct link. People who match their daily actions to their core values are way, way happier. It builds a powerful sense of integrity, which is the foundation of a life with no regrets. So, how do you find your values? I'm going to make this super simple. Grab a piece of paper and write down as many values as you can think of. Freedom, security, creativity, community, growth, stability. Go crazy. Now sort them into 3 piles. Very important, kinda important, and not important. Finally, take that very important pile and force yourself to pick your top 5. These 5 values are your true north. They are your cheat sheet for every decision you ever make. When you're facing a choice, a new job, a relationship, anything, you just ask one simple question. Which option follows my 5 rules? This makes hard decisions so much clearer. It gives you the power to make choices that are actually for you, so the person you become is someone you're actually proud of. If you're getting value from this and want to build a life on your own terms, do me a favor and slam that subscribe button right now. We're building a community of people who are serious about living with intention, and you need to be a part of it. Fear is the single biggest enemy of a life without regrets. It's the ultimate villain. It stops you from applying for the dream job, starting that conversation, or doing anything cool. But what if we could treat fear like a science experiment? That is the core of step 3, a crazy powerful exercise called fear setting. Popularized by Tim Ferriss, this idea has been around forever. It's all about defining your fears to destroy them. Instead of letting a giant, terrifying cloud of, "What if it all goes wrong?" paralyze you, you're going to dissect it. Here's the challenge. Grab a piece of paper and make 3 columns. In the first column, define, write down your absolute worst-case scenario. What is the worst possible thing that could happen if you do the thing you're scared of? Be specific. Don't just write, "I'll fail." Write, "I'll apply for the job and get a rejection email." Or, "I'll start my business, lose all my savings in 6 months, and have to move back home." In the second column, prevent, brainstorm every single thing you could do to stop that from happening, or at least minimize the damage. For the job, "I'll have 3 friends check my resume," or "I'll practice interview questions for an hour." For the business, "I'll set a super strict budget," or "I'll start it on the weekends first." In the third column, repair, write down exactly what you would do to get back on track if the worst-case scenario actually happened. If you got rejected for the job, what's the next step? You'd apply for another one. If your business failed, you'd get another job, but now you'd have an insane amount of real-world experience. When you do this, something incredible happens. That giant, terrifying monster of failure shrinks down into a small, manageable problem. You realize the worst case is never as bad as you imagine, and your ability to bounce back is way greater than you think. This isn't just positive thinking. It's a practical, repeatable experiment that proves the cost of doing nothing is almost always higher than the cost of trying. Your decisions are ruled by 2 things, fear or joy. That's it. Fear-based decisions are about running away. "I'll stay in this job I hate because I'm scared I can't find another." "I won't say how I feel because I'm scared of rejection." These choices are designed to keep you safe in your comfort zone. But joy-based decisions, they're about running towards something. "I'll take this lower-paying job because the work is actually exciting." "I'll move to a new city because I'm curious what I'll find." Step 4 is to flip the switch and start making decisions driven by joy instead of fear. This isn't about being reckless. It's about changing your main motivation. One of the top 5 regrets of the dying is, "I wish I had let myself be happier." As that nurse, Bronnie Ware, saw, people don't realize until it's too late that happiness is a choice. They stay stuck in old habits because the fear of change is stronger than their desire for joy. To put this into action, use this simple tool, the joy-driven matrix. When you're facing a big decision, draw a box with 4 squares. Label the columns action and inaction. Label the rows fear and joy. Now, fill it in. What does fear plus action look like? E.g., I take the new job and I'm terrified I'll suck. What does fear plus inaction look like? E.g., I stay in my current job, scared I'm wasting my entire life. Now do the same for joy. Joy plus action. I take the new job and I'm hyped for the challenge. Joy plus inaction. This box is the most important. What's the joy of doing nothing? Usually, it's just a tiny bit of comfort you get from avoiding a risk. By mapping it out like this, you see what's really driving you. Are you running away from something negative or chasing something positive? Research has proven that focusing on what you want to achieve instead of what you want to avoid makes you way more likely to succeed. A life with 0 regrets is built by chasing curiosity, passion, and growth, not by serving fear. This final step is the most important one. You can defy your brain, define your values, map your fears, and focus on joy. But none of it matters without this last piece: immediate, imperfect action. Perfectionism creates regret. It's a voice that whispers, wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan. But the perfect moment never, ever comes. It's a fantasy that keeps you waiting forever. The antidote is to think and act like a scientist running an experiment. A scientist doesn't expect an experiment to work perfectly on the first try. The goal isn't just to succeed, it's to get data. Every result, good or bad, is valuable information. You have to reframe failure as feedback. After failing thousands of times to create a light bulb, Thomas Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." This is all about having a growth mindset, believing your abilities aren't stuck, but can be developed through hard work. People with a growth mindset see challenges as a chance to learn, not a final judgment on who they are. So how do you do it? You break your huge, scary goal down into the absolute smallest possible action you can take right now. Want to write a book? Open a document and write one bad paragraph. Want to start a business? Spend 15 minutes researching one competitor. Want to learn to paint? Watch one 5-minute YouTube tutorial. Taking a tiny, immediate step does two huge things. First, it shatters the loop of overthinking. Second, it builds momentum. Action creates clarity. You can't steer a parked car. It's only once you start moving, no matter how slow, that you can actually change course. An old man who started painting at 85 said it best: "It's better to try and fail than not to try it at all." So there you have it. 5 scientific steps to build a life you won't regret. 1. Defy the inaction effect because your brain is lying to you. 2. Define your true north values to create your own rulebook for life. 3. Practice scientific fear setting to shrink your fears down to nothing. 4. Make decisions based on joy, not running from fear. And 5. Take immediate, messy action because momentum beats perfection every single time. Living a life without regrets isn't a prize you win at the end. It's a daily challenge. It's the choice made over and over again to be the hero of your own story. It's about having the guts to be you. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these 5 steps are you going to use right now? Let me know in the comments below. And if you're ready to take the next step, click on this other video about building unbreakable habits. Thanks for watching, and go build a life worth celebrating.